everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to my channel. Well, today I wanted to share with you a new die that I got from Life'sCraft. And this die is awesome. When I saw it, I knew I had to have it. It is a cute little frame where you can add little images inside and create a really fun card. So when I got the die, the first thing I did, of course, is to try it out. And I struggled a little bit with it. This is a very intricate die. As you can see, the pieces are very small. And when I went to pull it out of the die, it started tearing on me. And I went through several iterations of it. I tried different matting. I tried different ways to pull it out, and it kept tearing on me. And then someone suggested to use an old trick. They said to use dryer sheets. So the trick on this is to take 4 dryer sheets and then just fold them in half. And then after you cut the die out, you want to put the die on top of the dryer sheets and run it through your Big Shot one more time. And then when you lift the die, the paper sticks to the dryer sheets. And then that way you can go ahead and just easily take it off of the dryer sheets and you'll have your die intact. So I wanted to share that with you before I got into my project because I didn't want you to get frustrated with this awesome die. It definitely is worth the trouble, believe me. So let's jump into our project. All right, so once I had the die pulled out, it was time to embellish it. And I had the idea to use the negatives of these old vintage slides. Now these slides are in my stash and they're also in my shop. And I have tons of them because I like to go to estate sales and find these. And the idea was to use the edges of the negatives because that way I can add it to the frame and have it look a little bit vintage. So once I got the negative out of the slide, then I went ahead and I trimmed it with the scissors, leaving enough to be able to add glue. As you can see, these negatives have holes in them, so I'm going to want to line them up where the paper is on these dies, so that way that little shiny gold paper will come through the dots. So I went ahead and I got some of my glue and I just added it to the die, and then I placed it perfectly so that way it was exactly over the paper and you would be able to see it through the negative. And I did this with all 4 of the little frames. It took 2 vintage negatives to do this because I wanted to cut 2 out on each. And then that gave me a total of 4 pieces to work with. Now, once I placed it on the frame, I had to kind of wipe my finger over it because remember, you do have holes in these negatives and the glue tended to come through. But I just went ahead and I just wiped it through to be able to help it stick down. And then I went ahead and I proceeded on adding the little negatives to each of the 4 frames. And then once I had all 4 frames embellished, it was time to add my photos. Now the photos that I'm going to be using are stickers from my shop, Taylormadecards4u.com. And these stickers are sized perfectly to fit these frames. And you can easily use the stickers and place them right on the paper and then line up your frames. But I'm going to show you a trick on how to get your frames or your pictures perfectly framed. So these little squares are the pieces that came out of the die after I ran it through my Big Shot. And as you can see, they kind of fit perfectly. It's kind of like an inlet. So what I do is I take my stickers and I add them to these pieces. That way I have a piece that will fit into the frame perfectly. Now once you pull the stickers off of the sheet, you're going to see that the stickers are a little bit long, so you're going to have to trim them. And then you're just going to use the square to kind of eyeball to see exactly how much you're going to have to trim off. Basically what I do is I trim off the edges where the frame is, and then I cut off the top to make sure that I have enough to fit the frame. You might have to eyeball it a few times before you get it perfect, but once you have an idea of how big your frame is, it's pretty easy to size it up. And then I go ahead and I add my sticker to the square, and then I continue to trim it. And then once the sticker is perfectly onto the square, then I grabbed some walnut stain distress ink and I added some ink to the outer edge. I wanted to make sure that if any of the edge did show up in the frame, that it did look vintage or antique, because that's what I'm going for, is more of a vintage inspired card. And as you can see, the picture fits perfectly. It's just a matter of lining it up into the grooves and then adding some sort of adhesive to hold it in place. You can easily use Scotch tape or washi tape, whatever you have handy. It really doesn't matter because this isn't going to show. This is going to be on the back. Now remember, you don't have to use too much tape. You just need to use enough that's going to hold that photo in place. And then once you have it in place, then you're going to want to go ahead and proceed in adding the other 3 images exactly the same way. All right, so once you have all 4 pictures in the frame, it's time to figure out exactly what you want your backdrop to be. Now, I found this paper at Hobby Lobby, and it looks like a wood grain paneling, and I thought it was perfect for my background. So I went ahead and I trimmed it down 4 inches by 5 1/4, because this is going to be an A2 card. And as you can see, this frame fits perfectly for that size of a card. So now I'm just kind of sizing it up to figure out exactly where I want it to hang, because I know that I also want to add a chipboard. And I found this chipboard from the Tim Holtz Ideology collection called Collect Moments. And I thought it was perfect for this because it kind of matched the whole theme together by collecting photos and capturing a moment in time. And then I went ahead and I added some walnut stain to the chipboard just to grunge it up a little bit. All right, now there's a couple of ways you can go here. You can either glue down the chipboard first, or you can do it second. But if you choose to glue down the chipboard after the fact, then you want to make sure you've lined up your photos perfectly, because you want to make sure that you have enough room to put your sentiment. I went ahead and chose to glue it down first, and then once I had it positioned, I went ahead and I added some glue to the back of the frames, and then I added them to my cardstock. Now, as you can see, I'm not adding glue to the actual top of the die, the real thin part that kind of looks like the chain or the string, because it really isn't necessary to hold it in place. Adding glue to the actual frames is going to give it plenty of strength to hold in place. And as you can see here, I am going to add some brads as well, which just will give it a little bit more interest and a little bit more security, I guess, to hold it in place as well. Now I'm using a hole punch here, and as you can see, the hole punch is only going to fit on the 2 outsides. But once I get my brads in, then I'm going to go ahead and come in with a poker to add a couple of more holes to add brads in the 2 middle slots. So as you can see, this card came together pretty easily. Once I got past the struggle of being able to get a die that wouldn't tear on me, I was able to put together several of these cards. And I really love the little hack on using your dryer sheets to be able to work with some of those intricate dies. So once I had all 4 of my brads inserted onto my die, then I decided I wanted to add some little sticker sentiments to the bottom of this frame. And I got the stickers from the Tim Holtz Ideology collection, and these were the metallic ones. And I thought that they worked perfect for this. They fit perfectly, and it's almost as if they were created for this die. All right, so that's it. I hope that you've enjoyed my process video on putting together this cute card using the photo frame die from Lives Crafts. I will leave links to all the products that I've used to create this card, along with the links to the stores. And if you've enjoyed my video, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up. Now remember, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on the bell, so that way you will be notified when I have a new video uploaded, as well as when I go live on my YouTube lives on Sunday afternoon at 3:30. All right, everybody. Please stick around to the end of the video so you can see the completed card. And as always, I hope you have a crafty day. We'll see you again next time.